I need to ask you a question. Be curious, Drifters.
Allegron's won the Brisbane Cup, but it's all Antino. Blake Shin, take a bow. Barraquil, Benny Allen hasn't moved.
Broadside him, Bob, won the Golden Rose.
Pride of Jenny, trying to find the reserves at the 100. She's 3 in front of Mr. Brightside. It's all too late. Pride of Jenny has run them into the night. Switzerland, the big winner by 2.5 Bellatrix Star.
He's down, Jolly Star. She is a star in the making. Jolly Star bolts in.
It's all Isthmus. She's very smart and fast.
Mate, Sistina created history. 80 years. 10-time Group 1 winning mare. What do you think of it?
Mate, it looks so easy. Like the most casual ever. Yeah, she was fantastic. I thought if she was going to get beaten this prep, that was the race, and the market probably agreed a little bit. She sort of blew out a little bit late, didn't she?
$3, generous for her resume. But I guess the writing was all on the wall in Australia with her heavy track form. But I know we probably read into it a bit much. I think it was there's difference in heavy tracks, despite however much rain you get in the lead up. But if there's rain on the day, like she faced in that Maccabi Diva run, I believe it was, different gravy. It's just it's not like for like.
Yeah, it is. And that Randwick track is so used to getting absolutely pissed on by Mother Nature. So I think from looking on TV without actually hearing the commentary, it looks like the jockeys were sort of fanning out a little bit. But the lanes actually looked okay. Like the ground didn't look too shifty. Is that the case?
Yeah, I think so. And like I've had some comparisons on my own times that I keep, and I don't think it's hard because I don't think Randwick's had a heavy 10 this year at all. But I think some of the times were actually quicker than, say, heavy 9 tracks previous this year. Now, I think the heaviest it might have been in May when you got winter horses running there, so it's the quality of animals not there. And that it could have been raining throughout the meeting as well there, so I don't know the context, but because fast horses, believe it or not, they actually run fast. So
they run times.
Yeah, they do run time. And one of those was Autumn Glow, which we'll get to. But yeah, I think all in all, it played incredibly fair and full credit to the ATC. They don't get it usually. Like, that track held up when it needed to.
Yeah, it was a good day of racing. It's always difficult looking back on these sort of days form-wise heading into the spring because some horses just don't get through it. So I think take some of the performances with a grain of salt, forgive some failures, but then others, like some performances, you just got to tip your hat to. And Via Sistina was one of them. She could go through to the Cox Plate undefeated and go back to back based on that first up performance. So it was very tidy, I'd say, and she was challenged on the straight by a very good little 4-year-old mare.
Well, a couple of things about that, because I don't know if you do this, but I read what the jockeys say post the race, and I thought J-Mac's comments were really interesting. So J-Mac obviously rode Via Sistina, had a hat-trick in the features as well, which was outstanding. But J-Mac said after the race, nice for her to come back as good as she left off last time. It worked out really well. I think the deeper in her prep she goes, the better she'll go. It is good signs ahead that she is returning good order with great enthusiasm. Gee, the second horse was great. I could see the shadow and I couldn't think of what it could be. I was thinking I've quickened up beautifully and she gave me a hell of a fright. If I went another furlong, I'll win by a neck anyway. A great effort by a young mare like that. A pleasant race to ride. Now, I almost think he's more glowing of Aeliana than of Via Sistina in some ways there.
Well, I don't know. The market would suggest, and your pre-race assessment was that she would enjoy the heavy deck, and she jumped at like $6 or $7, so she was well supported in the market. So there was some substance there to believe that she'd do well. It looked like for a bit that she was going to win it. And how many mares come back out of their 3-year-old classic season and just don't cut it, when it gets to weight for age as a 4-year-old? That might be one spike performance on a heavy deck from her, who knows, but she's going to be right in it. If we're talking about 2,000 metre weight for age races, you'd think.
Yeah, and there's a plethora on offer as well for her. But I guess what puts Aeliana separate for me is she hasn't had a typical 3-year-old autumn preparation from Chris Waller either. So she's only had one run in her last 7 against her own age and sex, and albeit like that was her first run as a 4-year-old mare as well, so she's in open company, but basically out of her last 6 was against the fillies. So she went against the boys all of her runs in the autumn, and sure, she only won one of those in the autumn, but she also won the Carbine Club against Feroce, who ended up winning a subsequent Group 1 as well. Yeah. So she's not by no means a winning machine, but it almost puts the question forward for me. Is she the best of that crop of Autumn Glow, Lady Shenandoah, Aeliana, and she's not in the conversation, but Lazura is in the same age group as well.
Treasure of the Moment.
Yeah.
There's another one. Really good crop of 4-year-old mares. Who the best one is, time will tell. I'm thinking that we'll probably have a few of them racing against each other in those sort of middle distance races for the next few years, which is fantastic. But what she did first up, Aeliana, was enormous. I thought Lazura was great. After what was the horse that I was going to back that got scratched? Was it Espionage?
Yep.
I jumped on Lazura, and she started at a good price, and she brained them. I'm really excited by the crop of 4-year-old mares. They're fantastic.
Well, Aeliana as well, in that race, she clocked the fastest last 600 of the race, and to the eye, you wouldn't be I guess, judged by me if you thought it was Cheerwolf, because to the eye he was more visually impressive. But Aeliana and Via Sistina sectionals for the last 600 virtually identical, but Aeliana just pipped Via Sistina. As soon as Aeliana started behind Via Sistina, I pretty much ripped up my ticket, because I didn't think she could come from behind her and win, and that proved to be the case. You could almost say the same with Cheerwolf as well. Because I think if Chad fame kept the same line, and as you kind of were texting me, it's like it was like parting of the Red Sea. As the jockeys all fanned, if he kept his own, it was probably the one ride in the race where you go, him and probably Tommy Berry on Gringotts, where you're like, ooh, you probably zigged where you should have zagged there, but
Yeah, and having watched the replay, you can sort of understand why they did what they did. But I was a few question marks scratching my head a little bit watching it live. And I text you, I said, looking at Via Sistina next to Aeliana, the difference in size of those horses is marked. And J-Mac, he's so good. He just, in those situations where it's neck and neck ding-dong battle down the straight, in a big race particularly, it's not very often that he's on the losing end. So I think he was the difference, and just position and running will ultimately prove the difference. But both Aeliana and Via Sistina are in for fantastic preps. Cheerwolf, for me, he needs a truly run race to be at his best, because he's always going to be coming home strong. So he's in the column of can run on a bit for me at the moment.
Well, if he's going to be if that suits him best, surely King Charles into a Cox Plate is the play for him.
I think so.
There is races then.
Yeah, I think so. King Charles into Cox Plate. Haven't looked at the scheduling to see what that looks like. I don't know if it's 2 weeks King Charles into Cox Plate this year.
Well, Everest Day, which is where King Charles is on Caulfield Cup Day this year. So it'll be the week after. But for an entire like him, I don't necessarily think that would... I don't know. I feel like he's got the right style of trainer to pull something like that as well.
He's been gelded, Shearwolf. He was gelded before last spring.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah,
Okay.
I don't mind the quick backup. It's just, some horses can handle it, others can't. Yeah. It just depends. Like, what's the grand final going to be? Like, getting him to peak back to back is tricky. I'm just hoping that they don't take Aeliana to a Golden Eagle. Like, she needs to be in a Cox Plate for mine. Aeliana, her racing style, like around that bend of the valley, and just having one last launch at them. That's what I'm hopeful for. But knowing Chris Waller of the last few years, I think probably more interested in the dollar signs of the Golden Eagle, to be honest.
Well, one of his Everest hopefuls, you might even say, most likely probably Golden Eagle. Well, she could go down the Arcadia Queen path, Everest into a Golden Eagle, Autumn Glow. What do you reckon?
I think she's one of those. She's got it. She's got that ability to just to put races away. There were some scary moments yesterday when she just couldn't get a clear running, but as soon as she found air, you just knew she was gonna find the line and win. She for me is brilliant enough to probably be a sprinter, but I think she looks to me like a miler. She accelerates at the end of her race. She gets stronger through the line. She's by the autumn sun. For me, she's got miler written all over her. I think she's the Golden Eagle horse. Whether there's an Everest en route, it takes a special horse to be competitive in both those races back to back, let alone win. Maybe she's the one. I don't know.
She could be.
She wouldn't look out. She wouldn't look out of place in an Everest. I think she's a very special horse. Autumn Glow, and her dad was a fucking throbber, big throbber.
Yeah, but he was a 2,000 metre horse,
He was.
Who'd she beat? Who was she beating?
Yeah.
That's the question mark for me. And I was looking at the times as I do. Drying track goes into it as well, but there was one other 1,100 metre race, which was won by Neil in the highway in race 2.
That. Great name.
Yeah. So Autumn Glow would have beaten Neil in the highway field by about 10 lengths. So, I think she's put up serious time for that event, and I think she's only going to improve as she gets up in distance. Just stinks of Jolly Star to me. Like, the flashing run first up, could she be a little bit flat second up? Potentially, who knows? But at the end of prep, is she just looking for that mile run and it doesn't eventuate? That's what it kind of is stinking to me a little bit.
All valid questions. My other question is, she hasn't ever put together a full prep Autumn Glow. She's been injured. She'll have one or two runs and then that's it. So, Waller horses tend to regress second up anyway, but if she gets to run 3, 4, maybe, God forbid, 5 in the prep, lightly raced mare, is she just going to get better and better and better, or is she going to have a flat spot? A lot for Chris Waller to figure out with her, but she's exciting and great silks.
Fantastic silks. And then of the other Walla mares, Lazura, as we kind of already touched on. She was super, mate. She was fantastic.
She was good, yeah.
And writing was on the wall a bit because she lost to Lekvart, Joe Pride's mare, who I don't believe is actually racing anymore. I think she's in the breeding barn, but
right.
on heavy ground, and she was really unlucky that day. But it looked like that she got through it really easily. She did that against the older mares, obviously, and she posted the quickest of the 4 1,200 metre races on the day. So she would have beaten, I think, the slowest race by about 4.5 lengths. So I think she's put up a decent time as well.
Yeah, and she's a schnitzel, isn't she, Lazura?
Yeah.
So they typically can get through it. I thought she was great. What's her target?
Yeah, that's where it gets difficult, and I think for her, because she ran in like the Queen of the Turf and what have you, so I'd say it'd be a Golden Eagle for her eventually. But you'd be silly not to, I guess, keep your options open for an Everest, because it's almost like a rebuild year if you're talking football terms.
Yeah.
It's like, we need some high-end draft picks, and you're just looking for the absolute bolters. And this year, I don't think there'll be... I was reading somewhere, or heard somewhere, and I think it's a good take. There might be 0 runners from last year's Everest in this year's. Could be a completely new field.
Yeah, shit. Jolly Star be going to the Everest?
Yeah, potentially, mate. But if Waller decides to take Autumn Glow,
Lady
and
maybe.
we haven't seen Jolly Star yet, so who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Everest is going to be interesting this year because Kaying Rising, if he does what he does over in Hong Kong here, then he's going to be incredibly hard to beat.
Yeah, decent trial the other day, I saw.
Whether some trainers are happy to sort of avoid him, you probably think not, just because of the amount of money on offer. But I don't know that there's already 3 locked in: Kaying Rising, Briasa, and Private Harry,
and Jimmy Star.
And Jimmy Star as well. Right, okay.
Yep.
4 of 12 slots?
Yep.
10 slots, 12 slots.
12 slots.
Okay. Waller could have, he could have 3 or 4.
Yeah, Shenandoah, Jolly Star, Autumn Glow, probably the most likely, you would have thought.
Yep. There's no 3-year-old colts who are banging the door down, is there?
Like, if you look at the... if we were to have a look at the Coolmore market, which we might do later, it's like the 3-year-old Colt Beedman is the favourite at the moment, and it's like, I think he's got some talent, but it's like, I'd be shocked if he was to win an Everest based on what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
So there's no real... And you look at the... I guess the 2-year-old features from last year, I'd say, by the looks of it, it might be not as brilliant crop from sprinting ranks from what we've seen so far. I think that's within the law, it looks like she's going to be a really, really decent miler. Savvy Halley could improve as she gets out to further as well, but she's probably like a 1,400 metre horse to my eye. Agar Wood, who didn't necessarily get through the ground, I think they're aiming her towards like an Oaks or a 2,000 metre contest. So, and obviously you got the big dogs to come back, like Tempted and whoever. So she might be the one, but it's all up in the air. It'll all reveal itself in due course.
It's the beauty of racing, mate. It's all ahead of us.
What were your thoughts on Savvy Halley?
I thought she was good. I think she's a smart little filly, Savvy Halley. You were right. If you don't brain a field over 900 metres unless you've got some talent. So she was good. yeah, but that Princess series is usually a pretty easy, not easy one, but easier to punt into because they're all just keep racing each other. So, yeah, she's number 1 seed, ATM.
Within the Law was brilliant, though.
She was really good.
Massive market support for her.
Yep. She's got a big ticker, a lot of time for her. So, yeah, I hope she jags a good win this prep because she deserves it. So does Bjorn.
Yeah, well, she'll be far out, mate. She could run in everything. She'll run in everything in the Princess series. She'll probably get an Everest slot. She'll run down the straight in the Darley Sprint. She'll probably run in a Winterbottom.
Yeah, maybe a Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, Melbourne Cup. Who knows, mate? Yeah, she'll run in everything. That girl, but she's got a massive ticker. So I did hear that Jason Collette say that she gets a bit spooked being inside horses. So I'd say that's why they ride her quiet to the outside.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind for her. If she draws an inside gate, could be curtains.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting that he said that. That's why you should read the jockey comments. It's a nice little tidbit of information.
Yeah, well, not the first. Remember, Very Elegant used to pull her silly head off every time she drew an inside.
She was a prick of a horse. Took all of J-Mac's big nuts and Mark Zara's bigger nuts to control her. Remember Damien Lane had a crack once? Frosty's not the right jockey for her.
Sorry, bruh. Yeah. I feel like Frosty's used to like a more professional equine animal being from Japan, whereas Very Elegant being out of Z, like the ugly duckling of the horse. Yeah, the ugly duckling of the staying variety. But God, because she won 10 Group 1s as well, right? Wow. See, I'd say her CV is more impressive than Via Sistina so far. Would you agree with that? Yeah. 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 Yeah, she won a Winx. Yeah, she only won one Group 1 twice. So she won 9 different Group 1s races. Very Elegant, which is unbelievable. So I think that was pretty much all the features. Salt Coats went down in the Premier's Cup or whatever it was. Yeah. Just kind of had that stench about it when he got into like $1.65 or $1.70 or something. It's like, ooh. Jeez. Like, sure, he's got 2 heavy track wins on the board, but we're talking midweek grade, guys. Come on. Settle down a little bit. No. And, yeah, good banter. She ran as good as I thought she would, into third. But with only seven starters, no third divvy there. But that's racing. Other horses for me, Corniche. So never got going. And in the stewards report had a slow recovery. So obvious forgive for him. General Salute was okay. He was 3 wide without cover from about the 900 there. So on that sticky deck, which he hadn't seen before, probably a forgive there for him as well. Bonita Queen was 1 out of 5 lame. And I also saw in there that Commemorative, the ex-Godolphin runner, or still for Godolphin, she actually had a bleed at track work. So her spring is over as well. So, yeah, but that's Sydney, mate. But we have to talk about Barraquil. Yeah, I was happy. I was very happy to see him win. And there's no stars in this field. Midwest is but you know what Midwest is? Midwest is a 1,000-meter horse. So is Golden Boom, and so is Mornington Glory. And he's handled all of these horses with absolute ease, and did it with the top weight at 59 kilos. So it's Mornington Glory had 60, but he's obviously not going as well. But I think this horse is absolutely in the conversation for a Moira and a Manicato. And hell, why not an Everest? Dare to dream. Yeah, we do. Yeah, mate. We're all about narrative here. Barrack Hill, awesome to see. I had a quick look through, and this could be the first and last time that I do this, just because it is a bit boring. But who's hot and who's not in the jockey ranks? Just to have a look. So this is for the season today for the New South Wales and Vic Metros. So basically it's from the start of August to currently. J-Mac, any surprise? He is leading in terms of winners and strike rates. So 9 winners from 28 starts, striking at 32%. If you were to have a guess who's second, who would you guess? Sydney, yeah. It is Jesus Christ himself, Jason Collette. Yeah, so, 5 wins, striking at 23% for him. Mate, Zachy Lloyd, the other one you mentioned, he's actually not hot. 2 wins from 23 starts for Zachy. So, yeah, he's a little bit cold. In Victoria, Mark Zara is leading the pack in terms of Metro. 5 wins from 23 starts at 21%. And Jamie Mellum as well, 5 wins from 28 starts. So, mate, the other one who's cold in New South Wales, TC. 1 win from 16 starts. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think he can low-key ride pretty light too. I think he can get down to about 53, which is good going. And I'd say, and this might be a little bit harsh, but I'd say Blake Shin's probably having the roughest patch that he's had since coming back to Australia. He's only had 4 winners from the 30 starts, striking at 13%. Maybe that's a little bit negative from me, but he's also got a negative ROI. Yeah. Any guesses for the other 2 in Victoria who aren't going as good? No, mate, Craig's been nearly on the front line over in the Ukraine, so he's only had the 4 rides, I think, in Metro. So, but he's had like 2 wins, so it's gone pretty well. Yeah. Mate, your mate Jai, 1 win from 23 starts. Yeah. And unfortunately for Johnny Allen, he's kept the nickname Dogshit Johnny because 0 wins from 17 Metro starts this season. So, but John Allen is a bloody good jockey. He needs a good Derby horse to get himself back into contention, I reckon. Yeah, that's it. Speaking of, do we want to have a quick look at futures markets? All right, let me get my Ned's account open because we can have a quick look at the Memsey next week. Breaking news, I believe as well. Fangirl is confirmed to be going down for the Memsey as well. Yeah, so yeah. So I think the Memsey is going to be a low-key fantastic addition. So Fangirl at $3, another will at $4.50, Antino at $6, Tom Kitten at $6 as well, Mr. Brightside at $7, mate. I think you're getting $7 for Mr. B because his trials have frankly been horrific. But I'm a trial guy, but I'm not a massive trial guy. I think that's overs. Yeah, absolutely. Treasure the Moment at 9s, Pinstriped at 20. There's a bit of glitch there. Now, the other one I wanted to highlight, which I saw, was going to this race, which isn't actually in the Ned's numbers here. See the Melbourne Cup winner from last year's kicking off his preparation. Yeah. Yeah, you could say that. Bit of rain around in Melbourne next week as well. So up to 20 mils on Tuesday, 0 to 5 on Wednesday, 1 to 5 on Thursday, 2 to 10 on Friday, 0 to 5 on the Saturday. Mr. Brightside at $7. We know how good he is. He's won a Doncaster on a heavy 10. Like, $7. Forget the trials. I reckon he'll be good to go. Antino? Or you just want to see him? It does. Let's have a quick look at the Moir Stakes then. 6th of September, 1,000 metres, weight for age. Alabama Lass, who I believe you tipped out as absolute moral last prep. She's at $5. New Zealand mare, probably. Neonce at $5. Barrack Hill at 6s. Skyboat at 7s. Oak Hill at 10s, please. It's Miss at 11s. Need to see more out of her. Then, who you got here? Bellatrix Star at 26s. Commemorative in the field. Don't jump on her. She's got a bleed. She will be spelled. Headwall at $15 is interesting if he is heading there. John Allen was riding that day. that might have been his last win. Yeah, you're not wrong. Bacaiba Diva, 1600 metres, Wave for Age at Flemington on the 13th of September. Be Sistina at $2, Antino at $4.50, Tommy Kitten at 7s, another Will at 7s, Treasure of the Moment at 9s, Aeliana at 9s with Mr. Brightside. Gee, the market is heavy against Mr. Brightside. Very fascinating. Buckaroo at 15s as well. Yeah, it's hard to go against Via Sistina, right? Yeah, full sicko mode, bruh. The Underwood. Okay. I might have to... Shit. What have we got here? Got Buckaroo at 5s, Vauban at 6s, another Will at 7s, Aeliana at 8s, Sir Delius at 11s, Moira at 13s, Faulkner Park, Middle Earth, Mr. B, Arapaho, who's absolutely flying for Bjorn. I know. Kingswood at 15, Zardozi at 17s with LL Cairns Kovalika. Kovalika, who I saw, was trialling at the Sunshine Coast, so he's had a Queensland winter. On a Caulfield Cup path, I would have thought. This is a good race. Yeah, going to be spoiling the party because I've got 3 bets that I'm really interested that are already on my Ned's profile. If punters wanted to have a look, I'll go through them at the end. But Sir Delius, wherever he goes, I'm following him. I'd say they will be taking the without a fight path, which is the Underwood into the Caulfield Cup. I would have thought so. All right, and if we have a look at what else we got here, let's skip the Rupert Clark. Let's have a quick look at the Manicato War Machine at $5. Who I saw the Lindsay Park were aiming up this horse for an Everest slot as well, which they can do from time to time. But you know, we've seen Stradbroke winners be competitive in an Everest prior. Nah, not yet. Barrackeel at 6s. Lady Shenandoah at 6s. Alabama Lass at 9s with Neons. Giga Kick at $11. Skybird 13s. Benedetta at 15s with Tentris, which I thought was interesting as well. Is that the 3-year-old? Tentris? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Charm Stoner, $15. I have a lot of time for her, and I think she had some throat issues initially, and I think she's got over those. She won a Group 1 in Adelaide as well. I think she's better than Adelaide grade. Let's give her that. Yeah. And the last one that we will look at is the Golden Rose as well. So Nepotism at 5s, Wotan at 7s with Autumn Boy, who I'm seeing every man in his dog tip. Vinrock at 9s with Sky Hook. Beedman at 14s with Within the Law at 15s with Tentris. Raging Force, Rivellino, Central Coast at 21s. Skyhook at $9, just because of his racing pattern. I feel like he can go forward, and even though he didn't do that the other day, but he could give me who's the Waterhouse leader that beat in the Congo? Could be those vibes. Yeah. And maybe Nepotism is the next Mo. We don't know. But Skyhook, I feel like he can do it from the front. He's a bit more versatile. From what we've seen of Nepotism, he's only raced like 3 times. Yeah, and I think the Hawk stable they've gone through a few lean years, but they've got a few throbbers at the moment. So, and they're once like the grand final stable. You want to back their horses when they're there on the day, because what they pride themselves on more than anything is making colts, basically. So Exceedance, yeah, because they've had Yearning and Briassa. So that's about them. But he also beat Bivouac, yes, as well. Yeah. Yeah, I think there was another one actually. Libertini was in that era. Brooklyn Hustle, if you wanted to, like, she was a group winner up here as well. She won a group race down in Victoria as well, I reckon. So, like, she was the definition of could run on a bit, but hell of a cohort, that one. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. I have 3 plays that are already up on my Ned's profile, but basically done like a little system multi with these as well. So they could literally pay anything. The first one, I'm not going to bury the lead here, is Sir Dilius in the Caulfield Cup again. I know the stable said that it's very similar to the Freedmans. This horse is our Melbourne Cup horse, but from what he showed us up here in Queensland is that turn of foot over that middle distance range. I think it just translates so well for the Caulfield Cup. Now, he's actually drifted in betting a little bit because he was around that $10 quote after that race, if not $8. He's still around that quote for the Melbourne Cup, but for the Caulfield Cup in particular, he's drifted because he's had a couple of soft trials and because Land Legend did what Land Legend does and runs on a bit last week. So you can get $15 for Sir Delius in the Caulfield Cup currently. If he goes that way and it's a good track, he will not start that price. He will start around that $7-8 like Without a Fight did. So I will be taking doubles with Sir Delius as my major futures play for the spring. The second one, which I've always struggled in the Victoria Derby, and it's no spoil at the price. It's equal favourite at the moment, but I'm taken by this Buck Lou for Paddy and Michelle Payne. Same silks as Cherry Tortoni, won the Taj Rossi series final, which Cherry Tortoni actually won a few years ago as well, who was actually the once fancied favourite in the Victoria Derby as well. But he was, and I saw another Tortoni won the first in the Midway in Sydney, so they're still getting around. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so Bucklew, been very taken from him, so I'll be watching him all prep. $8 still available at with Neds as well. Another alternative one, a horse that gave me massive Finch vibes for Chris Waller. Big, dopey, massive action on him, massive horse, is Arcora, I think for the Busselton Young stable. Basically, will just, the further this horse goes, the better he will be. And there's no truer staying test for a 3-year-old in the spring than the Victoria Derby. So if he heads there, he will put in his best effort, and he's about $15 as well. And my final play for the three that I've found at least is in the Epsom. No idea if he's heading there, and I've tried to look. I can't see, but I thought Pierre was a very impressive winner of the Wayne Wilson up here, and he's $26 for an Epsom. I thought he was super. Yeah, and it's pre-noms at the moment, so it's like you get your money back if you just have on him if he doesn't go there. So they're the three, mate, plus a little each way bet with Arcora there as well. Did you have any majors? It's just around the corner, you know. I have a theory. As soon as for those of you locals who are here, as soon as the Eka holiday comes around, the year's over. So that's basically the first or second week of August, up here in Brisbane. And as soon as that comes around, the rest of the year absolutely flies by. So. That it will. And after we end this, I actually have something to talk to you about that day. So, Drifters, big news coming. We might do some separate stuff outside of this podcast, but big stuff coming with the good people at Ned's. Get your Ned's apps ready for next week. Big stuff coming. All right, we'll see you Thursday. Goodbye.